Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely raw, deeply emotional memoir. It's all about finding your true north when the crushing weight of societal pressure, family expectations, and absolute financial ruin are all trying to drag you under. We're going to trace an unbelievable journey from the high-stress streets of Japan to the completely liberating waves of Taiwan. The raw text of this story is really the beating heart here, so we'll be focusing heavily on that lived experience, using some gorgeous vintage photos as windows into this massive transformation. Let's get into it. Okay, listen to this opening thought from the author's memoir, because it really sets the tone. Back in the day, especially in places like Shonan, which is Japan's iconic surf coast, surfing was absolutely not just some casual weekend hobby. It was a bare-knuckled, muddy battle for survival. Beneath the sunny, glamorous image we usually associate with the beach, it was fiercely competitive. These guys were putting their entire livelihoods on the line. They were quite literally scraping their souls against the waves, fighting against the era they were living in.
So imagine the immense, crushing pressure our protagonist was under. His dreams of going pro as a surfer, totally shattered by harsh collegiate judging. Then came the inescapable cultural burden. As the eldest Japanese son, he was fully expected to abandon his own dreams and inherit the family's Chinese restaurant, Chin Chin Tay. So he surrendered to reality. But he didn't stop trying to survive. He started a trading company, personally importing dozens of cartons of goods, only to watch that venture completely collapse too. He was left totally broke and standing right on the edge of utter despair.
You can really feel his internal state during this time. Just imagine being trapped day in and day out in a steamy, greasy-filled kitchen. You're serving up food to fulfill a family duty that just isn't yours. But in your mind, you can literally feel the ocean water rushing over your feet. His physical body was chained to that hot walk at Chin Chin Tay, but his mind, his entire soul, was desperately anchored to the sea.
And you have to understand the backdrop to all this, the notorious Japanese bubble era. We're talking explosive economic boom, completely reckless spending. Sure, he had daily cash flowing in from the busy restaurant, but internally, it just brought a deep, suffocating emptiness. The memoir describes this time as a papier-mâché reality. Flashy and colorful on the outside, sure, but completely hollow on the inside. He was surrounded by these superficial expectations that were slowly but surely draining his spirit. Right in the middle of this hollow era, the people around him offered such a sharp contrast. On one hand, you had extreme superficiality. Get this, a woman actually offered to celebrate his birthday at a luxury hotel, but fully expected him to foot the massive bill for the room and the dinner. Crazy, right? Well, that was the moment something snapped. He flat out refused to surrender his life to that kind of fake reality. On the flip side, there was Ayako. He met her at a club, and she offered genuine, totally uncalculated support. She pushed him forward when he was literally suffocating. Her pure kindness became his absolute salvation. But even with Ayako's profound support keeping his head above water, he just couldn't shake this feeling that he was living a fake life. Staring out past the endless grind of his everyday routine, he quietly yearned for a deeper, truer calling across the water. He knew deep down that real stability wasn't going to be found in the daily cash register of the family business. It was out there, somewhere in the unknown. Eventually, that powerful call to adventure just got too loud to ignore. It began pulling him right out of those expected societal duties in Japan. He started remembering the ocean in Taiwan from his childhood. Specifically, he vividly recalled this solo trip he took when he was just 19, traveling all the way around Taiwan with absolutely nothing but a surfboard. The memories of those exact waves started calling him back, offering a real vision of true purpose. Now, making this leap was monumental. It was a literal and metaphorical crossing of the ocean toward a totally new life. But man, it was not easy. He had to push past his father's fierce, incredibly vocal opposition. Naturally, his family just wanted him to settle down, get married, and run the restaurant like a good eldest son. On top of that, he carried this deep, heavy sense of apology toward Ayako, who had supported him so purely. And yet, despite all those heavy emotional anchors trying to hold him down, he made the ultimate leap.
What's fascinating is how his connection to Taiwan evolved. Years after that initial solo trip at 19, he returned. He saw the restless energy of Taiwanese youth navigating these bustling, rapidly growing cities. But it was down in the southern and eastern coastal towns, places like Kenting and Hualien, which are home to large indigenous populations, where it really hit him. He noticed this raw, energetic, shining light in the eyes of the local kids. That was the spark. It led to a profound realization. His true mission was to walk away from his failing trading company, move to Taiwan, and spread surf culture to these youth.
Answering that calling meant leaving absolutely everything behind.
no safety net. He walked away from the reliable, daily catch of the restaurant, the flashy, empty relationships of the bubble era, and the safety of everything he knew in Japan. He completely severed those ties to pursue what he felt was his final destination, taking a massive, all-in risk on an entirely unwritten future.
And this is where we see the climax of his journey. You can literally see his dream materializing before his eyes in his vintage feature published in Fine magazine called Surfing Exploration. He set his sights on the first ever Taiwan Open surfing contest. At this point, he wasn't just chasing waves anymore, he was actively building a community. He planted his flag and declared this exact spot to be his ultimate surfing destination.
The reward for that incredibly arduous journey was just immense. Stripped of all those heavy societal expectations, he arrived in Taiwan with literally nothing but a single surfboard and one trunk. I mean, think about that level of commitment for a second. By totally embracing the unknown, he was able to fulfill his destiny right there in the beautiful coastal town of Kenting, and that is what led to the birth of NALUWANSURF.
That original, hand-carved wooden sign you see, it is so much more than just a piece of marketing. It's the physical manifestation of his ultimate destination. It's a sanctuary, one that was built from his financial hardships, those brutal soul-scraping days in Shonan, his deep gratitude for Ayako's kindness, and above all, his immense, unbreakable passion for the sea.
And the date carved right into that wood. Since 1997. That marks the permanent anchor of an incredibly turbulent voyage. I mean, after bouncing from shattered pro dreams to a greasy kitchen to a bankrupt trading company, all while navigating a hollow, superficial economy, he actually did it. He successfully turned a fleeting vision into a permanent cultural staple, right there in Kenting, Taiwan.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question, really inspired by his incredible leap of faith. If you had to leave everything behind today, the comfort, the expectations, the safety net, to chase your own ultimate destination, what would you pack in your single trunk? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey.